Alrighty, y'all. Hello and welcome back. Today we're talking about bollards in Europe and as a whole, how much different the bollard culture and presence is than here in the United States. You're thinking, Ian, another topic that seems so mundane and normal and, just in the background. Why would this be interesting? Well, with a lot of things, when you start comparing between a lot of countries and cities in Europe versus countries, well, not countries, the country of the United States and states and cities here, you start to find a lot of fascinating differences and kind of alarming trends, even on simple subjects. I was told to look at some bollards in Europe and how advanced they are. I really don't know much about them, but I will admit when I've played like GeoGuessr and just looked at some random bits of media, I do notice that bollards are pretty much everywhere in European cities from what I've seen. And of course, here in the US, I don't really ever see them. So we're going to start out with a couple videos and then kind of unfold as to how these bollards work in Europe and how advanced they are, I'm told. And this has been brought up a couple times, but I have an email from Michelle telling me to look into this. So thank you for that. Let's learn about these badass bollards in Europe. Here we go.
If you want to see what your society prioritizes, look at where they put the bollards. And for those of you who don't know, bollards are these things. Poles coming up from the ground, protecting critical pieces of infrastructure or people. In Europe, you see them everywhere. There are
Look at all that. Yeah. Everywhere.
Pedestrians expected to be.
Everywhere, like all along the sidewalk or the footpath, right? I see them literally everywhere. Intersections, on the side of the road. I've definitely seen that.
Filters. They allow people on bicycles.
Even in the street.
To walk freely through them.
Hold on, let me not interrupt this guy.
You see them everywhere. There are pedestrians expected to be. They act as modal filters. They allow people on bicycles and pedestrians to walk freely through them, but they will stop a car, like literally stop a car.
Whoa, damn.
In America, you see them in front of Walmart as a form of theft.
That's the only place. I actually wouldn't have even thought of that because they're so subtle. Yes, they are only in front of the doors at Walmart, which, keep in mind, Walmarts are huge, right? Absolutely massive, millions of square feet buildings with a even more massive parking lot, right? But you're only going to see these right by the door. So that is true.
Prevention, you see them in front of gas pumps.
Yeah, that's right. There are ones in front of gas pumps. I can't think of anywhere else.
Protect that critical infrastructure. But the fact that our city doesn't put them up on every corner in a downtown area where they expect and want pedestrians to spend their dollars to stimulate that part of the economy is telling of our priorities.
That is crazy.
If cities wanted to, they would.
Dude, that is actually so right. When you look at our main thoroughfares, main streets, like places you're supposed to go eat and go shopping and go, live your life, right? On the sides of the roads, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. We know there's many issues already with, the car dependent, the overly car dependent society we have here. And honestly, it's so far gone. On a quick scale, I don't see anything happening, right? It's just how it is here in the U.S. So that's its own thing. But regardless, not everyone has to drive all the time. Not everyone wants to drive all the time. And so when you're a pedestrian, I think we've gone over, it's pretty freaky. It's pretty freaky here. Even riding your bicycle. I'm a big bicycle fan. I like riding a bicycle, but it's not a daily thing for me, unfortunately, because it's just not practical, right? Everything's too far away. Not to mention the safety aspect. I usually ride on bike paths. Now, some areas have dedicated bike paths, and that's great. And that's what I rely on. Yeah, riding along the sidewalk and the streets and stuff, dude, you're asking for trouble here. There's no bollards absolutely anywhere where they should be, if that makes sense. And this is something, like I said, this was brought up to me. I never really kind of thought about it until it was presented to me, and I start noticing, wait, when I drive around lately, I don't see any bollards anywhere except at Walmart or at the fuel pumps. That's it. I find that very interesting to start this off, showing how they're just absolutely everywhere in European cities. And here, you're very seldom going to find bollards in, pedestrian foot traffic areas in cities. I can't think of any off the top of my head, which should tell a lot.
Right, let's have a look at how we protect this bad boy then.
Damn.
So we were seeing if we could grind out the exact bollard hole, but when we took the breaker to it, you can see the slab crack. So what we decided was to remove the whole slab and replace it with concrete. Here's the Sparky mounting the control panel. A tad more braking and we're into the soil. Couple shots of some high-powered digging for you. Not everyone's cut out for this, I tell you that. Done with the hole, and now to lift up a couple more slabs for the trench. And she pops. Quite a small trench on this one, to be fair. The Defender 600 now sits 800 into the ground, so we do the whole 1,000 deep. There's the spot.
So I have also been told that some houses or places, I don't know, I guess it would be houses, yeah. Some houses in Europe also, you can have bollards at your property, like in your driveway and stuff. That is a completely foreign thing to me. I've never even heard of that. I've never seen that. Doesn't matter how cheap or expensive or big or small the house is here. I've seen a wide range of things at different houses, but I've never seen a bollard in a driveway.
Sparky just pulling the bollard cables into the control
and
panel.
this is, I believe, somewhere in the UK.
Now, so in it goes. It usually takes about 3 small bags. Come on, now it's time.
Look at that. Holy smokes.
Goes. Check.
So that thing goes hella deep, way deeper than what I've imagined. And that thing does not look light. It does not look weak.
Level, and she's ready for the postcrete.
That thing looks like a beast.
2 bags of postcrete per bollard, obviously mixed with water. Here's us just measuring out the conduit that protects the cables, and there's the connections getting done. They go inside IP68 junction boxes to ensure they're weatherproof. And as I said, it was only a short run of cable in the ground for this one. And here she is.
Look at that.
Installed and ready to protect your vehicle. Oh, she'll defend. Don't worry about that. Encrypted app control.
It's got freaking lights on it, controls.
Get in touch with Hades Bollards. Right, let's
holy crap, that's sick.
Bad boy, then.
That is so freaking sick. Now, I understand that these probably aren't at every house. They might not even be like super common, but they're a thing though, right? They do exist. Whereas here, I've never seen that in my life at an American house ever. The design of London's bollards, okay, these look like old school. Many French ships were captured. Okay, stripped by the British. Oh, what the hell? Don't tell me these are cannons. These bollards are freaking old cannons. That's crazy. And it's sealed by a literal cannonball. Okay, that's actually kind of cool. Dude, seeing things that have been basically recycled or more specifically repurposed, that is actually hella cool, dude. Yeah, that's an aesthetic. They make great. I mean, it kind of fits like it was almost designed for it. That's actually kind of cool. Here's, of course, one more. Got a beautiful G-Wagon. Geez, I see, obviously, I know these aren't like probably cheap homes, but the point is that this is so cool that's even a thing. Another bollard protecting the driveway and the cars in it. That's so crazy. Wait, these bollards can straight up lift up a car? Yo, what on earth? Have you ever seen that before? I'm being told that these things are hella strong, as they should be, but they're straight up lifting up a car like it's a toy? All right, let's see how strong these things are. We got some different testing. Here we have an absolutely huge truck. This is not even a car. This is an actual industrial, huge truck. Versus a little bollard. It doesn't look like that should win. Well, color me surprised. Damn. Like, I knew these things had to be legit. I knew they had to be strong because otherwise, why would they be there? They're for protection, right? They're to stop something from penetrating into a dangerous area. I get it. But whoa, when you actually see it, like it's something you might see, but you never get to see it in use. Holy smokes, that just stopped a massive, extremely heavy industrial truck. I don't know what speed it was going, but it was going pretty decent rate of speed. Absolutely stopped it in its tracks. All right, show me more. 80 kilometers per hour, pretty high rate of speed. Again, we have a huge, awesome, we have an Iveco and a Mercedes, so this is definitely European trucks. Love to see it. but I feel like they're about to get, well, they're not going to get far. Actually, kind of crazy how it just demolished that truck. Absolutely demolished it. Like, the cab is, oh my goodness. Like, can we talk about A, this is impressive. B, this is actually a terrible scenario just because, yes, did it stop the truck, but the cab went flying. So that would not be good, right? This is kind of a rare case. Obviously, I think most of the time, you have a lot more cars on the road than you do box trucks. So I have no doubt it would stop a car in its tracks, and that's, I guess, the most important. This is like kind of a bad scenario if you think about it, because it stops the truck, but the cab goes flying, like literally many, many meters away forward. So that would for sure fly into like a pedestrian area or a storefront or something. Hey, it is what it is, right? Damn, that thing is destroyed. Absolute destruction. But see, on a actual like smaller scale, kind of more put together vehicle, like a light truck, a light van, or of course passenger vehicles, I think these are no doubt, totally safe. They do their job completely. And of course it's better than having nothing there. So like, I'm just kind of nitpicking. Yeah, see, like that is spectacular. Stopped in its tracks. Kind of bizarre that these aren't along our streets where you're supposed to walk in the U.S. If someone flies off the road here, you're screwed. Okay, here we have a big Volvo crashing into, whoa, some other sort of barrier. Whoa, look at that. It like stops it even on, look at that. Whoa. That's bizarre. But it works. Maybe that's some sort of mobile barrier that you can kind of have anywhere on the go for some sort of events. All right, here we have another type of guard that raises out of the ground. It like sits flush, and then it raises up to this beast. Oh, turn it down a little bit. Again, very effective. Holy smokes, man. This thing is cooking, by the way. Going really fast. Jeez. This is also another type that's like a bollard bridge or expansion type of piece, it says in the title. And as you can see, it's kind of like bollard base, but it has guards in between. Look how strong these are. Totally deflected that truck that weighs a ton and a ton and a ton more. Heavy vehicle. And it threw it like it was a toy. That's insane. So we zoomed out a little bit. Here's an area where people clearly are going to be walking. And let's go ahead and see. Wow, I'm surprised. No bollards. Now, is there more bollards happening? Of course there is. But not necessarily everywhere. Interesting. I mean, do these count? Are these bollards? I suppose they are. They're kind of small, yeah? Let's go to this view so you can see a little bigger. I mean, yeah, I think these count as bollards. I think that's what these are. Let's try a little bit elsewhere in Paris. God, Paris is actually freaking big, dude. Holy smokes. Let's go over here. Again, random. I mean, yeah, there's bollards right there. It just depends on where you're at, I'm sure. We also have these random, like, kind of curbs. I've never seen those before, or at least that design. Look at all the cars, by the way. Totally, no, you're in Europe. It's all these, like, different sort of minivans that are different than ours, and, of course, hatchbacks. Yeah, bollards everywhere where you would be walking. The obvious observation would be like, look at all the bicycles. I'm amazed by that. The bike racks everywhere, the bicycles. Like, dude, that is, it could not be more different than the U.S. Let me tell you. Yeah, there's a Bollard. I mean, they're around. Yeah, I mean, here we're in Berlin, so still in Germany. I mean, we do see Bollards again all along this street. Looks like a pretty heavy trafficked area, both on the street and for pedestrians. All right, let's move a little bit elsewhere. Let's go like way over here. I see a big roundabout or something. What is this? Oh, this is a park. I mean, here's another intersection somewhere. You see Bollards again because there's more like, you know, shops and places that people would be walking to. So they're definitely around. And keep in mind, like, this is totally random, candid, me looking, you know, I mean, they're showing up. So I think the point is proven here, right? I'm not even looking at probably the right areas or big tourist areas. I'm just kind of looking and we're seeing them. So I think that point is proven, right? There is barriers and bollards kind of all around here. So let's check out at least a couple places in the U.S., see if I can find any. All right, so we turn Street View off. Let's go back out. This always does that. Let me reset to north, otherwise I get lost. There we go. Alrighty, and then we're going to go over here. And let's say, I mean, Chicago is different, so I'm going to give Chicago a chance here because Chicago is like different than a lot of cities, and I would argue, and I know people are going to take this literally and laugh, but don't take it literally. But like Chicago's more like has European aspects to it than a lot of other cities in the U.S. So I feel like the best chance of like anything slightly European can be found in Chicago. Like, you know, for America to have a chance here, I feel like that's one of the better cities to look at. So again, absolutely massive city. It's like ridiculous how big it is. But if we go to town towards like downtown proper, where, believe it or not, tons of people walk in Chicago. A lot of people don't even own a car. If you're like straight up downtown, of course, if you're in one of the suburbs, yeah, you need a car. But if you're out, or if you're rather in here right by the water, you don't need really a car if you're staying downtown. Now let's see though. Let's see how it is. And what do you know? Chicago coming in clutch. You are protected walking. Look at all that, right? First street I click on, which is Clark. And what do you know? Like, you have big footpaths. You do have some bicycles, not as many as Europe, but a lot for an American city. I will say that. Chicago being, just like I said, it's different. But, of course, not all of it. So, of course, lots of traffic, as you would expect. But, yeah, there's definitely protection for pedestrians, at least in certain parts, just like we saw in Europe. It wasn't everywhere, but it was definitely in certain parts. Now let's go over on here on Jackson. So not exactly, but some sort of barriers though. I will say I don't see a lot of the European bollards though, like the exact style. I don't think I've ever seen those here. So ours are slightly different. And I don't think they're the fancy ones that like retract and go back up and have, you know, illuminated lights and stuff. They're definitely not going to find that here. So that's a big difference. So if we leave Chicago, Chicago was a good candidate, like I said. It's also not common, or it's not like most American cities. It's definitely a little different, right? If we go to somewhere more random, like let's say Dallas. Dallas is a huge place. Dallas, Texas, of course. Let's see if they have that kind of thing. Okay, that puts us in a park. That's not what we want. We want somewhere. I mean, look at all the parking lots. That's a big difference right away. You can see all the parking lots, right? Cars everywhere on the street and parked. So we got to find somewhere where there'd be pedestrians, which is actually kind of hard to find because Dallas is, again, a absolutely huge metroplex. Maybe down here. So yeah, I guess people could walk down here, more downtown, but not any bollards. Yeah, I'm not seeing any. So again, this is like what you would find in typical U.S. cities. You would have your sidewalk, but it's going to be, big roads. Everything's kind of prioritized with the cars and stuff, buses, cars. That's it. There's your sidewalk, and is there protection? No, there's not. So, I mean, those are some quick kind of looks, but I just kind of wanted to show that. You could see the difference, of course, in aesthetics. But, yeah, those European bollards, damn, they are hella strong. This thing stopped a full-size truck in its tracks at speed. I think that's absolutely wild. Quite honestly, this probably just scratches the surface, but it's another one of those things that's kind of fun to compare, and especially for me to learn about. I think the presence of them is, of course, way more common in European countries, to the point where you can even have them, in your driveway and stuff like that. I just think they're actually really kind of cool and aesthetic, some of them, the modern ones. Then again, I actually think the reused, like the classic ones, like say in London there, that were the old cannons with the cannonball on top. Again, totally different, but equally cool in that regard. I think it's kind of a fun deal, and of course, it's a great concept. I mean, it totally makes sense, and it's something that is very underutilized here in the U.S. that is, quite frankly, very bizarre. Any stories, anecdotes, or facts about bollards and like-minded things, please let me know in the comments. There should be an interesting one for comments. I do appreciate you watching. Hopefully, I will see you in the next one. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all. Catch you later.